Ed, thank you so much. So here now with more, Lawrence Jones is a host on the Blaze TV and a conservative commentator. Pablo Manriquez is co-founder of K Street Media and a Democratic strategist. Welcome, gentlemen, to both of you. There has been a lot of good evening. There's been obviously a lot of division on this issue from day one. So Lawrence Jones, let me start with you. If the president does go down this road and prevent those children from being allowed to stay here, it could lead to some pretty tense and uncomfortable moments.
But it's the right thing to do, Martha. Either we're a country of laws or we're not. And there are citizens in the United States that have to suffer consequences for what their parents do all the time. This is nothing different. And so although I feel for those children, we have to abide by the law.
Pablo?
No, we don't. I mean, we do abide by the law, but there's a lot of wiggle room there, Lawrence. I mean, and you're not the only one who feels for these people. President Trump has said that these are incredible kids, and I want to put like just to put this in perspective. There are three really important points I want to make here tonight. First of all, and this gets underreported, but Stephen Miller, the author of the RAISE Act, which proposed cutting legal immigration in half, and everybody pretty much in politics said that it was dead on arrival, has no longer been accepted into the room, or he's no longer invited to the conversations that are going on about DACA. So that is an early indicator that perhaps it is going toward more of a centrist position. Second of all, the danger that DACA is in coming from the Texas lawsuit through Attorney General Ken Paxton, interestingly enough, has been reported as just a distraction from Ken Paxton's felony lawsuit that's going on for securities fraud from when he was a state representative. So that's
just to be clear that what we're focused on here, we're talking about DACA. We're not talking about about cutting the number of legal immigrants who come into this country, which was legislation that was by Tom Cotton. It's a separate issue. We're talking about illegal immigrants who are illegally in the country and have broken the law, as Lawrence Jones says, and how, whether or not, it's my understanding, and Lawrence, speak to this if you can, that the ruling under the Obama administration will run out. So this White House would have to reauthorize DACA, and they don't know. Their lawyers are concerned that they don't really have the authority to reauthorize it because they don't believe that it had correct legal underpinning to begin with. Is that correct?
Exactly. This is what happened when you use the pen from the president's desk and not go through Congress. And I want to note that this is nothing new in American history. Even the African slaves that came here unwillingly, it still took a constitutional amendment for them to be legal citizens. So I'm not going to pretend like this is something new in America. Even people that didn't want to come here had to still go through the legal process. So I want to understand, Pablo, what is different from their situation than people that came here unwillingly and still had to go through a legal process?
Good question, Pablo.
Lawrence, that is a really good question. And the thing that's different here right now is that we have to ask ourselves the question, should we punish children for crimes that are, civil infractions that were committed when they were 6, 5, 4 years old? They were brought over here by their parents. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about DACA.
Again, we did the same thing when African slaves came here unwillingly and were punished and brutally beaten and raped. And they still have to get a constitutional amendment.
But Lawrence, this shouldn't be a competition between who's who's the biggest victim, right? This should be a conversation where the president can really show some amazing leadership here and try something unpredictable. And I'm going to put it out there.
By far. All right, we got to go, guys.
Maybe it's time for an amnesty. I was at the White House the other day for an amazing tour the president's team had us by. And I noticed one thing that was really interesting. The carpet that they have in the Oval Office right now is the same carpet that Ronald Reagan had in the Oval Office when he negotiated the last big amnesty that made people legal and finally got them right with the law. Now, it was incomplete.
We got to go, guys. Pablo, thank you very much. Lawrence Jones, good to hear from both of you tonight. All right. So you love your iPhone, you love your Apple TV and all.